Our next question deals with the monetization of virtual concerts post COVID-19. So I've asked professional musician Gene Lake to come on board and provide some insight for us. Let's take a listen.
Okay, have a new guest that joined us now to answer our second question for this episode, and his name is Gene Lake. Gene, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and Gene, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm a drummer for folks that don't know. Uh, and over the years, I've released a few CDs under my own name, but people would probably most know me from, playing with David Sanborn and Michelle and Cello. Those two I've toured the most, I think, with those two acts. I've toured with several other artists like Marcus Miller and Joe Zawinul. Did some stuff with Surface, the R&B group, which is how Rob and I met.
Right.
And then we're also alums from Berklee College of Music. So that's a short little piece of my background.
That was heavy.
Yeah.
As short as it was, you just covered a whole span of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool. So, Gene, thank you. First of all, thank you for coming. And just want to jump right into a question that came from Oakland, California. This came from MF in Oakland, California. And
Okay.
MF wants to know, Erykah Badu and Jill Scott brought in over 700,000 viewers during their 3-hour live stream. Do you think post-quarantine, these virtual concerts can be monetized?
That's an interesting question. I would think they probably, you mean like it will, in terms of like having people pay to get access to the,
right? Pretty much, I'm assuming pretty much the way that people pay to go to concerts prior to all of this. Is it possible for there to be a way to have people pay to attend these virtual concerts?
Yeah, I think it's been done already. I think it's been done already by certain, venues. I know there's a venue here by a good friend of mine named Matthew Garrison here in Brooklyn, New York. It's called Shapeshifter Lab, and people would do these webcasts, right? And I know he was charging folk to say, have access to any concert that was happening at his venue on any particular night. And so, yeah, the straight away the answer is yes. And folks have already been doing this. Venues have already been doing this kind of thing. It's just that, like you say, we're in this COVID-19 moment where this is primary way in which people are getting access to live music. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. So basically what you're saying is that there's already been some pioneers in that area without even having the forethought of this could be a necessity in the industry now.
Exactly. We've hit a moment where, there's been some snags technically trying to do this kind of webcasting, these live webcasts, and so now we're here. We're in a moment here where people would really like to take advantage of that technology and the capability of broadcasting a concert. Of course, if you're aware of the Jill Scott thing, and I'm sure you're aware of the sort of debacle, if you will, with the Babyface and Teddy Riley.
Yeah. Right.
That was, I wouldn't say it was a debacle to me. I mean, obviously Teddy was, he was trying to take advantage of being able to reach so many people at once, possibly millions. They had a lot of people, signing up. I think Jill Scott is what might have, maybe almost 1 million people, overall, viewing this back and forth of them playing all the hits and songs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting moment, to be able to say, because I think what Teddy was trying to do was reach, like I say, all the people, and it would have been, all these, maybe almost 1 million people. And I think I'd seen something with Timbaland and what's the other guy he's been working in tandem with? He's married to Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
They said altogether there might have been 3 million people.
Wow.
That were watching. This might have been a month ago, I guess, the Babyface they were trying to do, and Teddy was trying to do this thing on a Saturday, it didn't work, and then that following Monday they got it to work, and there were well over 1 million people.
Right.
So when I saw that, And, you know, I logged in through Babyface's Instagram, and when I saw, and he had 500,000 people on his.
Right.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I see why Teddy was trying to do a live presentation.
Right.
You know, he was trying to, because you have all these people here, you know, and you could totally, you know, get your message out through your music and reach a bunch of people, you know, through your music. So, yeah, I do think that, you know, technologically, that this is probably in the forefront of a lot of different, you know, app developers' minds right now, being able to, like I said, we were speaking off the camera, I was telling you that, you know, having these programs that will allow musicians to even play it simultaneously through these different apps over the web, and to be in sync and not having any latency. So, yeah, there are lots of different developers right now to try to really get this going and make it simple, you know, because we don't have we don't have an app that's, you know, ergonomically, that's kind of like a McDonald's style app where you plug and play and it's easy to operate, and you know what I mean? And like, you know, I call you up, boom, and we set up and we play together and it's easy. You know, so I think once they work out all the kinks and get that going, we're going to see, to your point, which I'm hearing behind the question, I think we're going to see more of this online after this COVID-19 moment and beyond, you know, and going forward rather.
Yeah.
So,
as I said in a couple of the other interviews I did, I've been telling our viewers that, you know, pretty soon we just have to accept that there is a new normal that is coming, which may be, and we don't know how it's going to play out. It could be some of the things from the past may find their way into our future still and remain there, and some things may never come back again, and there'll be things to replace it. And I think some of the things that have been developed, that are being developed at this time, will become part of that new normal, where now this is the thing. What do you think about that? Do you think in terms of live music that this would completely replace it, or just be like it was kind of before, when a few people were doing it, just kind of in addition to?
yeah, I don't know. You know, it's hard to say, man. I don't get me out there trying to predict the future. I do think, I do think, you know, it's gonna develop along. This whole moment is making this whole thing, you know, move along a little quicker in terms of being able to get to live music through webcasts, live casts, and live broadcasting. A mutual friend of ours, between you and I, David Conley, already does a webcast through YouTube of a radio station, and he's got it hooked up where he's, you know, sending stereo feeds through YouTube and also through Facebook Live. And so getting music out there, the technology is there,
Right.
you know. So because he and I were speaking about the whole thing with Babyface and Teddy Riley, we were thinking, you know, had they sent everything, all of the music that they wanted to play to him, and then simultaneously did a cast like this, like the way you and I are sitting, say there was 3 of us in the box as opposed to just 2,
Right.
you know, the 3 of them, and he was the middleman, like just playing everything, that whole thing would have blown up, because you know, he has all the technical end of it, he has the technical end of it worked out already. Right. And so sonically, you know, fidelity wise, it would have sounded great, and he would have been able to, you know, just be like the middleman and DJ, you know, so between the 2 of them. So I think, you know, once, you know, Swiss Beats and Timbaland, if they continue this, I think eventually somebody, like, things are starting to loosen up. Somebody will probably come in and say, look, man, you need X, Y, Z, you need this app, you need this, and you need this soundboard, and you guys could totally, you know, turn this into a thing. And they're calling it Versus, right? Right. Which is, I guess, some kind of clickbait or some kind of sensational title to get people, you know, riled up about what they're doing, because they're not actually competing, right? I mean, you know, Bill Scott and, you know, they and what's it, Jill Scott and what's the other artist? Erykah Badu. I'm sorry. They're not, you know, they weren't being antagonistic with their music, right? There wasn't that kind of vibe. But yeah, so I think once if they do continue it, once they get that going, you know, I do see, I mean, to your idea about what the future could bring, I do see this being a thing. You know what I mean? I do see, and this, in terms of where this thing could go, we're sort of in its infancy around how people are reimagining, you know, what the music experience experience could be, via the web, right? So people are already coming up with different ideas and ways to get their music out to the people through the internet. So I don't know. It's tough to say where this is going. It's going to be interesting, So
definitely. Well, Gene,
thank
you for coming on and taking the time to address that question. And I'm sure that MF from Oakland, California, appreciate you too. And we have to come back on and we'll do a full interview.
Cool.
All right.
I hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No. Perfect. Nope, perfect.
Yeah.
It was straight and to the point. But thank you for coming, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Roger. All right, now same to you, bro. All right.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.